Hey guys, oh shoot, I forgot to change this. Oh fuck. There we go. What is up, guys? What is up? Welcome to MK in the morning. We got we got a lot of stuff to talk about here. The Sixers signing Jabari Walker to a 2-year deal. We kind of knew that was gonna happen, and then the NBA tanking problem. We're gonna dive deep into that and just discuss that in full. So hopefully you guys are here. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show. Like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. So shout out to my guy Nick who came on the show yesterday. We talked about Cameron Payne. We talked about NBA as a whole. So if you guys missed that episode, I highly encourage you guys to go check it out because it was one of my favorite streams I've done in a long time. So shout out to my guy Nick again. Let's just get right into it, guys. Let's just get right into it. Don't forget to engage in the chat and there's a vote on the poll. It's tanking ruining the NBA. Yes or no? Let me know your thoughts. All right. Let's get this underway. So let's start off, guys. Let's just start off with the Jabari Walker signing. Let's just start off with that and just kick it out of the way. So the Philadelphia 76ers intend to sign Jabari Walker to a new 2-year contract. And Rich Paul negotiated the new deal for Walker, who owned a rotation role after maxing out the games allowed on his 2-way deal. So there you have it. Jabari Walker is officially on the roster. He takes up the last roster spot. Jabari Walker, we know he's not that good. He's not one of the best on the team. He's not one of the mediums. He's one of the lower end players on the roster. But it fills out the depth. We actually are filled. We don't need to discuss that anymore. So with me, it is what it is. We do have lack of rebounding. And with him, with Jabari Walker, he does average 3 rebounds a game and 4 points a game. So when you go and look, he can grab 1 or 2 rebounds a game, which is pretty decent. The Sixers will take any rebounds as they can. So for me, I'm like, it is not a big deal that he's here. It's just, okay, he's here. He'll get some playing time. Not a lot, but he is officially part of the roster. So congrats to Jabari Walker. I'm not mad. I'm not happy. I'm just like, it is what it is. It is what it is. So congrats to him, man. What is up, Chad? What is up, man? Hold on. I need to fix this. There we go. What is up, Mitch? I have a Jabari Walker auto number 1. Really? 1 out of 5? Okay. There you go. There you go. Any other Sixers players you have? I'm curious. As you know, I'm still trying to get into the card stuff, so we'd really appreciate it if you had any other Sixers stuff. So maybe one day I'll deep dive into cards. Who knows? But yeah, so just to throw that out of the way, Jabari Walker is a part of the Sixers, so let's just get that out of the way now. So there we go. Jabari Walker on the Sixers. So, yep. And then I'm going to fix this. Let me fix this. And then let me go to this color. All right. So there we go. Now we're in full effect here. We're in full effect. All right. The NBA's in trouble. The NBA's in deep shit. It's basically tanking, right? Tanking has been an issue for years, for decades. It has been an issue. You guys know I'm a Sixers fan. The Sixers were known for tanking during the process years. The Thunder were tanking. A lot of teams tank, right? But now this one seems differently. This one hits differently. I think it's because it's like, it's pretty, what is the word I'm looking for? It is Like, it's obvious. It is obvious that you see Utah tanking. You see all these guys tanking by taking their starters out from like the middle of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, and just see them lose. It's just always been like that. And the only reason it's happening is because OKC Thunder have their pick top eight protected. So if it wasn't for that, guys, if it wasn't for that pick, we would not even have this conversation, honestly. We would not. So Utah, Utah's in deep shit. They're in deep shit, right? Did they? Yeah, they did get fined, and I think New Orleans got fined as well. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but it's like now the NBA is cracking down. Now they're cracking down, and Adam Silver issued a couple of ideas on how to stop the tanking, but these ideas are just idiotic. They're just idiotic, and we're gonna go through them in a bit. I have an old 76. You have Ben Simmons. How much is that worth now? I gotta ask. How much is that card worth now, dude? It can't be that much. It can't be that much. The guy is fishing right now. The guy is fishing. So it cannot be worth that much. He's not even in the league. So he did it to himself, man. He did it to himself. So I'm just gonna say that Ben Simmons did it to himself. So yeah. So I believe one of the. Hold on a sec. Alright, that's better. Excuse me. Yeah. So basically, it's worth 10 cents right now. I really want to know how much his card is worth because it may not even be more than that. It may be even less than that, honestly. So, yeah, these ideas, man, that Adam Silver is like cooking, quotation marks, they are so fucking bad. They are so bad. Like, he's talking about getting rid of the draft completely. Getting rid of the draft completely, right? And I'm like, and have them be free agents. I'm like, why? Like, these these guys coming to the NBA, right? They won't go to these lower end markets. They won't go to Utah. They won't go to New Orleans. They won't go to all these They won't go to all these garbage teams. So it's just like, what are these garbage teams gonna do? Like, they won't be able to rebuild a future, man. So I'm like, the NBA's in deep shit. What is up? What is up, game? What is up? Mitch, how do you feel about Tyrese Martin, Richard Job Edwards, and China? Anything is better than Justin Edwards. Anything is better than fucking Justin Edwards, dude. Justin Edwards is the biggest disappointment in the Sixers this year. The biggest disappointment. He was one of the best players in college. He fell out of the draft. We picked him up undrafted. And then now you see him like, I don't even want him there. I want Beauchamp to take his spot. Martin Beauchamp should take his spot. If it's not Beauchamp, I don't care who it is. But Justin Edwards should not be a part of this roster. He should not, dude. I cannot stand Justin Edwards. It's a shame. It really, really is a shame. He's honestly the most overrated player on this roster. I really think he's the most overrated player on this roster. It's not even close. What is up, T3 and D? What is up, man? Do you think NBA should let rookies be free agents and have no lottery? I was just saying that, man. If they are free agents and there's no lottery, who's gonna go to these lower end teams? Who's gonna go to these lower market teams like Utah? Like Indiana will get some players, but no one's gonna want to go to Utah. No one's gonna want to go to New Orleans or shit like that. So you can't really do that. It's not fair to those guys. It's not fair to those lower end teams. So they built themselves into a corner. They built themselves into a corner. So I don't care. You can't get rid of it completely. You can't, right? Could you stop their can you stop their future picks? Like for example, let's go with Utah, right? They get a first round or top 3 pick this year, top 3 pick next year, and you can't do it the third year. So can you do that? Something like that? I would not mind that. I would not mind that. So it shows them like, okay, you got to be strategic with these moves. You got to show these guys, this teams, how you have to build without tanking. It is absolutely insane. And there's no one in this draft class like a generational talent. There is not. This draft class is deep. This draft class is deep. So when you say that, when you see that, it's like there's no point in tanking for this one. AJ's good, but it's not that good. Booster's good. He's not that good. So I'm like, there's no players worth the tank for. The only reason Utah is doing it is because Thunder have their draft pick. That's the only reason why the OKC Thunder have their draft pick. That's the only reason. And it's top 8 protected. So if it's top 8 protected, Utah gets it. So it's like they're trying to lose, so they'll keep their pick. That's the only fucking reason. And it's fucking sad. It is sad, man. We're gonna talk about this more in the Pick and Roll podcast tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern, definitely. But I just wanted to talk about this now. How about no play-in tournament? 8 to 10 seeds get a lottery pick of the worst records. The play-in tournament, I'm mixed about that. Right? There were some years where it's competitive, some years has not been. The best records need to go. The best teams with the best records go to the playoffs, right? They just go. You don't need to have the other guys fight for the last 2 spots. So if they get rid of the play-in tournament and just give them lottery picks, it's like, I guess, but it's just, yeah, it's like the play-in. That could be another way as well. It's just god awful what the situation is in the NBA. And guys, the NBA, it's the worst sport when it comes to tanking. It's the worst sport when it comes to tanking. What other sport tanks? What other sport tanks? NFL, you can't really do it. Baseball, you can't do it. Hockey, you can't do it. So NBA is the worst sport when it comes to tanking. Because those teams are competing and making an effort. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely making an effort. They're definitely making an effort. The teams that are not making an effort, they should be punished. They should really, really be punished. And this has been an issue for decades. I'm going to look up right now. When did the NBA start tanking? It was like in the early 1980s, early to mid 1980s. So, like I said before, this is going on for like 50, 60 years. And, hold on. Greg Popovich is the one, he did it. Well, he did the low management. He did the low management, and that definitely has some pull. That definitely has that's definitely one of the main reasons. Okay, see, it's a problem. The NBA should limit how many first round picks a team can have in a 5-year span. They can't draft all those players and keep their team together. The Sixers did it, but they did it wrong, and the OKC is getting away with this scot free. OKC is getting away with this scot free. Normal guy, what is up, man? Make sure you guys tune in tonight. I am streaming Michigan and Purdue. Michigan and Purdue at 6:30. My guy Mike will be joining us. He's a Michigan fan as well. Greg Popovich openly tanked in 1997 to draft Tim Duncan and got hurt that season. Yeah, they started off with that. Then he did low management. And look at the Spurs now. The Spurs are arguably one of the best team, or arguably the best team in the NBA. The Thunder can't beat the Spurs. So I'm like, Spurs are doing it right, and they got rewarded Victor Wembanyama. They got rewarded Victor Wembanyama. It sucks being a Sixers fan, dude. It really sucks. If the Sixers could draft, dude, we wouldn't even have Nerlens Noel. We wouldn't have Yoka. Blah, Joakim. No, Jaleel Okafor. We would have kept Drew Holiday. Like I go on and on with this freaking franchise when it comes to tanking. Sam Hinkie, that was you. And then the NBA investigated it with that guy. I forget his name, but 76ers should have kept. There's a lot of players, T3, that the Sixers should have kept. There's a lot of fucking players that Sixers should have kept. I go on and on. You guys know Cam Penny? He's on the Spurs now. He's starting power forward for them next to Wemby. Isaiah Joe. I go on and on. Remember when the Sixers drafted Michael Carter Williams, and then that first game he almost had a quadruple double? Do you guys remember that game? And then now he's nowhere to be found. Markel Fultz, Ben Simmons, like Sixers can't draft and they tanked wrong. Starting in 2027, it's all up in the hill for the Sixers ranch. We have a decent amount of picks. Yeah, don't we have like how many picks? Five, I think. Paul Reed, yes, Paul Reed is one of them. What are you, Elvis? Thank you very much. What are you, Elvis? That is how Blaze has it going. But this NBA it just hits differently when it comes to tanking this year. I don't understand why. I really don't understand why this year hits differently. Like we've seen teams do it. The Sixers, Thunder, Spurs, we've seen teams do it all the time. But why does this one hit differently? I wish I could tell you guys. It just doesn't feel right when it comes to the tanking thing. I don't know. Ah, I just hate tanking, man. I hate it. I understand it, but I don't. NBA is basically the only sport that does it. They're basically the only fucking sport that does it. Baseball, no. Hockey, no. Football, no. Soccer, no. Curling, no. I go on and on. This whole thing feels like 2K. This whole fucking thing feels like NBA 2K, my GM, or season mode, franchise mode. It feels like that. And yeah, Utah has a good roster. Utah has a good roster. Next year, look out for Utah, man. Look out for Utah. They can make a good playing. They can make a good playing team. Tank for Marco Folks and Anthony Bennett. Good job, guys. Remember Kwame Brown? Remember Kwame Brown? I go on. And then the Sixers just didn't draft correctly. It's a crapshoot. This whole thing is a fucking crapshoot. The way the Thunder did it, they need to come out with like how they did it. They need to show everyone how they did it. Sam Presti is a fucking goat when it comes to GMs. He's a fucking GM. I love being a Sixers fan. It don't suck. We we drafted VJ and Maxey. We also drafted Jared McCain. Oh wait, and we got nothing for him. Yeah, the Sixers had their time to drafting and had not. Joel Embiid, right? We drafted him when he was injured. He missed the first 2 years, and now, yeah, Sixers actually kept Fultz and Ben Simmons, right? Markel Fultz actually balled out for Orlando. Markel Fultz actually balled out for Orlando, if you guys remember that. Ben Simmons is fishing. Hook, line, and sinker. He is fishing. I just don't. Let me look up this. The best years in, who had the best tanking? I don't even know how to Google this. Who had the best tanking job in the NBA history? San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs, 97, getting Tim Duncan. That they had the best job according to Google. Pretended that McCain is that good. He had a Lynn Sands. I'm not saying he's that good. I'm just saying. Tobias, we didn't draft Tobias. What is up, Nick? What is up, man? We talked about your favorite player, Jabari Walker. So according to here, I found an article. Here, we're gonna go through this together. But TJ McConnell, oh my god, he was like he does like he's a gritty guy. He fights for loose balls. He goes to the right spots. I'm telling you, McConnell is something else. All right, we're gonna go this way. The the best and worst luck, worst tank jobs in the past decade. This was from what 2021. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. This was like 5 years ago. Keep that in mind. No, I actually went on Google. I actually went on Google, so nice try. All right. The jury is still out. The Thunder, here we go. Into a process like Tank in 2022 2021. This trade right here started it off. This SGA trade started it off. The Clippers ruined the NBA. They're one of the reasons why this whole tank thing worked. So if you really want me to break it down, it's the Clippers that ruined the league. As usual, trades involving Paul George and Russell Westbrook, a cumulative of sets of future picks between now and 2026. So this is last year of that. 14 first round picks through 2020. Oh my God. Losses now improve the draft odds on those picks. Exactly. To the Houston Rockets, too, back in January. Multi time All Star and Simmons. Words post Dwight. Words post Dwight. Don't even start with that. Yeah, well, I went on Google. The worst post Dwight Magic. So Dwight Howard, they kind of wow. Yeah, he was traded in 2012. We're able to make it secure. Okay. Yeah, it's Andrew Bynum, right? Philadelphia 70. Was this where Andrew Bynum? No, I don't think this is where that ain't. Hold on. Wait, was this the Andrew Bynum trade? Large part of Vucevic. This is not where Bynum is, right? Oh, yeah, I know. I know. Nobody expected him to be that. Nobody fucking expected SCA to be like that. Nobody. He's arguably the best player in the league, arguably. Can you imagine if he was in the All Star game? Imagine if he was in the All Star game, Giannis was in the All Star game. It would have been so much different. Aaron, if I thought they chose Bynum, no? Ball Ingram. Ingram. Yeah, the Kobe Bryant, technically the tank job before Kobe Bryant retired. They're trying to tank when Kobe was in his older years. That didn't work. Tanking Kings. So Kings with DeMarcus Cousins, the fifth. Okay. Bryce Houston. Oh my God, the Suns. Dude, when Devin Booker got drafted, the Suns were god awful. That was not. That was arguably one of the best jobs, best rebuilding jobs in years. The Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns were one of the best jobs. 76ers didn't draft the right talent and missing more games without avoid the picks of losing several years in the second round. The Sixers draft if they drafted better, we would have had a different conversation. But the Suns, you got to give the Suns credit, man. They rebuilt the right way. They went to one final appearance. Yeah, the Nash trade to the Lakers. Devin Booker. Look at this. Look at this roster. Yeah, Alex Len, Dragon Bender, Josh Jackson, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges. Gee, there's something. Mikal Bridges. Wow. Cam Johnson, DeAndre Ayton. Wow. The Bobcats. The Bobcats. Okay, I'm skipping that one. The the best. Bleacher Report. The best. How? How? The Suns had a great job rebuilding. Great fucking job. BJ and Maxey were good in the draft picks, I might say. They were. They were not. Thunder development is off the charts. But the Sixers? How? How? Sam Hinkie and the Boston Sixers were very well to be the face of modern tanking. Sam Hinkie and the Boston. Hold on. Sam Hinkie and the Sixers. Oh my God. The face of modern tanking. So basically, you could blame the Sixers, guys. You could blame the Sixers for tanking, apparently. Bruh. Rookie Michael Carter Williams. He won Rookie of the Year, right? Yeah. He won Rookie of the Year, and then we traded his ass. Oh my. That offseason, they drafted Joel Embiid, but Embiid didn't. Yep. First two seasons, he was out. Yep. Colangelo, that was his name. Okay. Noel Okafor didn't work out, but the Boston gave Philadelphia two corners. And then this is back in 2021. And Ben Simmons, he just didn't pan out. It just didn't pan out. My God. That's just fucking crazy. Don't look at Bleacher Report. So I have no clue what that means. I have no clue what that means, man. This whole thing with Katie and burner accounts on Twitter is fucking crazy. We're back in what was it? 2016? We're back in 2016? It is. Saying the Sixers have the best tank job is asinine. It's oh my god. It's still not, bruh. I'm weak. I am weak. I know you're kidding, but damn, I'm weak. I just, what happened to the sport I love, man? What happened to the sport I love? The All Star Slam Dunk contest is ruined. We're gonna throw that out there. Slam Dunk contest is ruined. Um, the tanking, it doesn't even feel like keep it on the court. They do it off the court, right? Now it's just like whoever wants to lose more. Utah, I feel I don't feel bad for Utah at all. I really fucking don't. Don't yeah, they have what's that GM's name? What is that GM's name? I forget Utah's GM, but he's Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge is one of the best GMs in the history of basketball. Yeah, Arku, I said that yesterday. The All Star weekend was actually really fun. It was actually really, really fun, except for the dunk contest. Except for the dunk contest, man. Everything was good. The Rising Stars was good. Shout out to VJ Edgecombe winning MVP. The All Star weekend, the All Star game. Victor Wembanyama saved it. You had Kawhi Leonard. You had all these guys showing out. The 3-point contest was arguably my favorite thing in the weekend. We tanked well. Imagine if we didn't tank for VJ. We get we were injured. We tanked accidentally. We picked up in the draft was Janai Broom. Janai Broom, man. I used like I was a big Janai Broom fan. I definitely was. But now it's like, ew, damn. That guy had so much potential if he just gets the time of day. Just what happened to the sport I love, man? What happened to the sport I love? I can't even watch Utah games. I won't watch Utah, and I'm only sticking to good teams. Oh man, yeah. Tank. I really want to know what is your guys' solution to the tanking? What is your solution? Because I honestly don't have one. I don't have one. I mean, the normal. Is there like a tanking video we can watch? There's gotta be so much tanking vids. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I'm looking at something here. No, not a herd. Uh, Actually, I found one. I found it. We're gonna react to this one by sporting logically. I think I watched this before. Where'd you go? Here we go.
Tanking in the NBA has been a thing for decades, but it has never been remotely as close to as bad as it is right now. You could make the argument that right now, 15 teams, half the league, doesn't want to win basketball games. They go into the game knowing they would like to lose on purpose. And that
Half of the league. Let that sink in, right? Let that sink in. Half of the league, pretty much, want to lose. That's just like, is that fair to say? Is that really fair to say for all these teams in the league? Just half? I can name 5 right off the bat. But 15, is that a little too much? Is that a little too much there?
that just can't be a thing. You can't have a league where in the middle of February, not even at the All-Star break as of this recording, and it's rare to find multiple games on a given night where both teams want to win the basketball game. And it has created a giant conversation around why is it so bad? How can we fix this? What are the rules? What are the changes? And is there any way we can actually solve tanking in the NBA? Now, there's a
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. Is there, like, can we actually figure out a way to stop tanking? No. There is no reason, like, here, I'm going to turn this off real quick. There is no way for us to actually figure out a way to stop tanking. There is not. There's always going to be a way to figure out how to stop tanking. There's always going to be a way. There we go. I'm going to go like that. There we go. That's better.
there's a lot of different directions we can go here, but there's a couple of things I want to point out specifically. One is some of the changes that the league brought up a handful of weeks ago where they floated some ideas, most notably being changing around some of the pick protection stuff so that teams
So changing around pick protections, limiting pick protections to either top 4 or 14 and higher, which will eliminate the problematic mid-lottery projections. No longer allowing the team to draft into the top 4 2 years in a row. I talked about that earlier. I think that's like one of them. I think baseball does that. I think 2 years in a row. I think that's the best thing. Locking lottery positions after March 1st. That's interesting. That one's interesting.
teams like Washington, like Utah, aren't tanking so egregiously in the middle of the year as a way to keep their draft pick. I think that's something we're possibly going to see. And then some other
Yep, that's basically what we're seeing with Utah right now.
stuff like not letting teams pick in the top 4 in a draft in back-to-back seasons. I think we're going to see some version of those things implemented, whether it be this offseason or moving forward. There's already been conversations around what are solutions here. The other thing I'd really like to point out, and I'm not singling out a specific team here, but things have changed in the way that teams have tanked. We used to have guys would rest on the second half of back-to-back, or late in the year that you wouldn't really play your best players for the last 10 games of the year.
I forgot about that. A lot of teams do that. They don't let them to play back to back, and then you have load management. Load management. It's like god awful. You could thank the Spurs for that.
This season, it's different. It happened a little bit last year. I'm thinking about a team like Toronto last year. I'm talking about a team like Utah this year and other teams. It's not just them. They're intentionally not playing their best players in the middle of the basketball game. You buy a ticket to go see the Utah Jazz, to go see last year's Toronto Raptors, a variety of teams. And you go and you see that, oh my gosh, Lowry Markin and Jaren Jackson, these guys are actually playing. I actually bought the correct ticket, the correct home game where they're actually.
Think about the fans who want to go to the games. Think about that. How did I forget about that? How in the world did I forget about that? Like, I used to go to these games all the time when I had a 10-game deal when LeBron James was with Miami, right? In that era. And there would be some times when I would go, LeBron didn't play. Especially, what about Luka, right? With Dallas. I would go, I think I saw 2 Dallas games. Those were the last 2 games I went to. Luka only played in one of them. The second one, Tim Hardaway Jr. went off. Like, god damn, I forgot about that.
Actually playing late in the year. This is awesome. And you're there, you're watching them. It's a close game. And then
Hmm.
all of a sudden you get to the fourth quarter and those guys just don't play. They're just not in the basketball game. And the reason that distinction is important, and again, I'm not singling out Utah or Toronto or any of these teams specifically. I'm just talking about league-wide trend. This is happening across the league. The reason this is a demarcation for me, a way that things get separated in terms of what tanking looks like now is before the competitive integrity of the team was at least a little bit intact because it was an organizational decision. If you just don't play your players at all, if you just don't play your best guys on a given night because of rest or you really want to be careful about a particular injury,
Load management. Low management. I wish they can get rid of that. I wish they could truly get rid of low management. I hate low management more than tanking. I hate low management more than tanking.
as a way to lose the game. Not ideal, but at least going into the game, the team knows, okay, this is what's happening. Other guys have to step up. Now it's a coach thing. Now you're telling the coach, don't play Jaron.
Wait, really? No way, really? I guess they kind of have to, especially how the head coach and that went down. I said low tanking. I hate low management more than tanking. Yeah, it had to be with the head coach. It had to have been. And that how that went down. Makes sense. They kind of had to do it. I'll be talking about that more tonight against Michigan versus Purdue. I'll be talking about that for sure. Normal guy, can you send me that on Twitter? Can you send me that on Twitter or Discord or whatever? So I have it for the stream tonight.
Jackson or Lauri Markkanen in the fourth quarter. Play them their regular rotation the first 3 quarters of the game. Don't play them in the fourth. Now it has trickled down to a coach situation where before the coach was kind of separated from it. He knew what was going on, he was aware of it, but it was an organizational decision to not play their best guys going to the game. In the middle of the game, now the coach is making that choice, the coach is involved. That to me, we already had gone too far with tanking, but that just takes it another step further and creates a real crisis in the league, something that the league desperately needs to deal with this offseason. Now, there's a couple of things I think that have made this league year especially bad when it comes to tanking and things that continue to create issues around finding a real solution for this. First is this is a great draft. It's a really, really good draft, especially in the top 4, especially in the top 2.
Is it really that good of a draft, though? That's my question. Is it really that good of a draft? I feel like they're overhyping these guys. I really feel like they're overhyping these guys. Cameron Boozer's good. AJ's good. I'm telling you, but they're not like generational talents like Cooper Flag, Wembanyama. They're not like that. So I'm like, is this really the draft to do it? This draft is really deep. This draft is really about the later picks. It's not about the top 4, in my opinion.
There are multiple potential franchise changing guys at the top of the draft. I'm a Nets fan. One of my best friends is a Wizards fan. We talk about the lottery every single day. A bunch of my feed online is, hey, did the Pacers win tonight? Are the Kings ever going to win a game?
Imagine being a Nets fan and your friend is a Wizards fan. Just imagine that. That's actually a good rivalry once you think about it too. Because you're like, no, we're gonna get the first pick. No, I am. You are. Like, that's gonna be funny.
It is a real thing. The tank race is a significant part of my basketball watching life right now. So I'm right there with you. All these other teams, all these other fans that are thinking, man, yeah, this sucks, but it's better for my team. I'm right there with you. But I think this draft season.
There's math, and then there's $10.
And hold on, there's an ad. Let me change this back.
Has accelerated things because the draft is really good. We saw that with the Victor Wembanyama draft as well. That was a really bad tank race. And then we kind of got a break from it because the class after wasn't all that good. And now we're back to a really strong draft class. And there's always going to be a correlation there. When it's really clear in the middle of the year that a draft class is particularly strong and there are multiple franchise changing players at the top of the draft, you're going to see tanking in a similar way to what we're seeing right now. And that goes to how egregious it is, how aggressive teams are to tank all the way to the bottom. The other issue, and the other reason I think it's been so prevalent this year, is because of the volume of teams. There's so many teams that aren't just trying to tank to top one, but they're trying to tank to a top 5 pick, a top 8 pick, because there's a couple of teams, and I mentioned them earlier, Utah, Washington, that have top 8 protections on their
What did I just say? Utah has. See? I just said
first
that.
round picks this year. So Utah owes it to Oklahoma City. Washington owes it to the Knicks. If it's not in the top 8, then they give their pick away, which obviously would be really damaging to two teams that made midseason trades that are going to try and be good next year. And part of that is because they want to try and keep their pick, add another guy, and then be really good next year. And so they want to not only aggressively tank towards the top, but they want to make sure they keep that top 8 pick. And they're not the only teams that have some protections that they're dealing with where they really, really want to try and lose games because it benefits them specifically. And it just creates a very strange issue because you can't be the 9th team. If you're Utah, if you're Washington, you can't have the 9th worst record in the league. It's a disaster scenario if you do because of the way that the lottery works. Maybe this is one of the changes that they'll make. I think more likely they'll just change the way you can protect your picks, but maybe this is another way they can do it because the way they do the lottery is you're not drawing for every number. The Jazz can't go from 9th to 7th. They can only go from 9th into the top 4. You're only rolling for those numbers, and you can only go up into the top 4. And if you don't get a top 4 pick,
This is like a. Dude, this is a bad scenario. This is really a bad scenario for Utah. Really, really bad scenario, but Danny Ainge can get him out of it. Tanking's a problem in all sports. It was worse a decade ago. I agree, but this one just hits differently, Nikki. And I feel like NBA is the worst at tanking. I feel like NBA is the worst sport when it comes to tanking. By the way, guys, check out Nikki at 12 noon for the 3-point blitz. I'll send you guys over there once this stream is done. So at noon, go check that out.
And you're the Jazz and you finish with the 9th worst record, you're going to give away the 9th overall pick. There is no way to just move up a single spot. And so all Utah can do is try to get to 7 or 8 or higher than that and make sure that all they have to do is just not lose their spot rather than try and move up 1 or 2. And Washington's in the same scenario. And I think that combination, strong draft class and a bunch of teams that have some of these top 8 protections, makes this a really, really difficult tanking year. In addition to, there's a lot of teams that just kind of happened upon a gap year. If Tyrese Halliburton doesn't get hurt last year, the Pacers are not even remotely close to where they are.
Every sport you've seen tanking more, I agree. Look at Tankathon Utah, it's at the top 6. Baseball and football, it doesn't matter what at all. No, same with hockey.
Are in the standings. Dallas was looking to try and make the playoffs this year. Then AD got hurt. Ultimately, they trade away Anthony Davis. The Hawks are kind of around there, though, although they're not a tanking team, but they're worse than they should have been because Trae Young wasn't that good, and then they traded him away. There's a bunch of teams here that thought they were going to be something, aren't, and now find themselves kind of in the tanking race, which, again, just leads to the overall volume, where right now, if you look at the standings, we pretty much know, with the exception of 1 or 2 teams, who's going to be in the play-in/playoffs. We kind of know that. I mean, Charlotte, a team that we're used to tanking every season, is heavily, heavily favored to be in the play-in because they're.
Yeah, Charlotte Hornets, oh my God. The Hornets they are something else this year. It looks like they're going to make the play-in. And then once they get into the 7th or 8th seed, I'm going to be so happy for Charlotte. I'm going to be so fucking happy for Charlotte.
There's so many teams underneath them in the East standings that want to lose the rest of the way. Same thing in the West, where the Clippers, despite trading away James Harden for an injured Darius Garland, despite trading away Zubats, are probably still going to make the play in A because they don't have their own pick, and B because all of these other teams, Memphis, the Sacramento, of course, all these teams beneath them in the standings have absolutely no chance, or no intention, I should say, of making the play-in/playoff.
The Hornets,
and there's just no way you can convince me that this is something that the league wants and that should happen. Whatever version of the NBA we have in a couple of years is going to have tanking, but it can't have tanking as egregious as this. You can't have the product be, well, we're halfway through the year, half the league no longer cares. And it's not going to be that way every season, but in this particular year, it is as maybe as egregious as it's ever been, unless you want to count the Wemby year. Because
This is the 1,400 hours a year you waste on your phone.
Ad. There's an ad.
really bad as well. But here's where I put in the point that I make in every single tanking video. There is no outright solution to this. There are ways that you can change it, whether it be, having a cutoff date where once you get to February 12th, all of a sudden all of your wins actually count for more lottery balls in the ping pong ball machine. So if you lose a bunch of games and then you win a bunch of games after the 15th, then all of a sudden that helps you some way.
That's kind of interesting. Huh. Let's say you stop after February 10th, right? Let's say that's the date. And then you can get, if all those wins, you get the odds are more in your favor. Not bad.
Having winning be included in the formula for being one of the best lottery teams. That's obviously a possible solution.
Miami is tricky because they made no moves at the trade deadline. I don't even wait. They didn't even make a move at the buyout market. I think Hayward. I forget where he went. No. Who went to Milwaukee? Who's the guy that went to Milwaukee? Oh, Cameron Thomas. Cam Thomas. He went to Milwaukee, right? Miami didn't even make a move.
Mentioned, I don't think that the pick protection thing is going to be a thing, at least not in the way that we have it. Either it's going to be top 4 only or top 3 only, and that's it, or it's going to be something more limiting from just what we have now. But also, you have to trade away a first. You can't do top 8 protected or it becomes 2 seconds. Like at some point, when you trade away a first round pick, regardless of the protection, you have to trade away a first. I think that's a possible solution. But regardless, whatever combination of things they put together, there is no outright solution. There's no way to fix tanking in the NBA until, and I think this is an impossibility, but until you find a way to make it not a competitive advantage for these teams. Every single team in the league knows that if they are not all that good, their best path towards being good is to lose a bunch of games. They are at a competitive advantage if they win 12 games in a season and then get the lottery balls to fall their way. And the changes that they've made in the past, flattening out the lottery odds, the play-in, they have not dissuaded teams from that. It might be less likely now that if you have the worst record in the league, you get the first overall pick, but it has not dissuaded teams from this strategy.
Like Miami is such a weird team. They're such in a weird situation. It's hilarious.
You're not a big free agency destination, or you're just bad and you have a chance at a top pick, it benefits you to do everything you can to get that top pick. And frankly, up until the last handful of years, there was a point at which teams were willing to accept that, but also do it in a way that was, if you want to argue, maybe semi-ethical. We have reached a completely new level of no one cares about the product on a day-by-day basis. No one cares about the consumer. No one cares about the people going to the games. No one cares about the fan base. No one cares about the people watching the games.
Facts. That's facts. That's facts. That's exactly what I said earlier in the beginning of the stream, Arku. No one's going to want to go to Utah. Nobody's going to want to go to Washington. They may want to go to Charlotte because how well they're playing right now. But Sacramento? No. They're not going to want to go to Sacramento. I think that's the worst idea ever.
They only care about giving themselves as many shots at a top draft pick as they can, which is the correct competitive thing to do. But we have lost sight of the actual product year by year. And again, I can't imagine, amongst all of the other issues that you may have with the NBA right now, amongst all the other problems you might think the league has, this has to be either number one or very, very high on the list of things for the league to change and fix this offseason, because this is as bad as it could possibly get. So give me your best tanking.
Yeah. Tanking sucks this year, man. Tanking sucks this year, guys. It makes no fucking sense. Tanking makes no fucking sense. Oh my god, I just don't fucking get it. I can't stand it, bro. This is hurting the NBA. This is honestly hurting the NBA. It's like they don't even. I just. What is up, Raph? Give me your opinion on tanking in NBA. Give me your opinion on tanking in NBA. Yeah, give me your opinion on tanking. And what does the vote say? Yeah, loser mentality. Yep. So 70% of you guys think that that tanking's ruining the NBA. That you guys, I agree. I definitely agree there. It doesn't hurt me at all. It doesn't hurt me at all. Want to be dumb? Then let it be dumb, I guess. I just want the game to be competitive, like the All Star game. I just want it to be competitive, like the All Star game. It's a lot of. That's a big reason why a lot of my friends don't even watch the NBA anymore. They're like, Mitch, why do you waste your time watching the NBA? They watch college basketball. They watch college basketball instead of the NBA because of tanking. And I don't blame them for that. I don't blame them. I'm like, guys, I watch it because I love basketball. I actually fucking love basketball. And when it comes to the NBA, it's like it's a sport I grew up watching. So he's like, Mitch, they like, Mitch, we understand, but it's just like, no. No, it started before the All Star break, Arku. It started before the All Star break this year with Utah. Let them tank only hurts the dumbasses who lose on purpose. Blaze, I wanted to ask you, what was going through your mind when the Sixers were tanking during the process years? What was your take when the Sixers were tanking during the process years? I really want to know that. It's the biggest problem and it's very annoying. I agree. Well, Arku, the Jazz did it this year before the break. Yeah, they did it before. I cannot stand tanking. If you're a fan of the team, that's if you're a fan of a team that you're so passionate about, you gotta watch them, right? Yeah, you gotta watch them. It's hurting. Remember when the Sixers were tanking in the process years? Nobody will go to the games. The games were empty. The games were absolutely empty. There was like a couple hundred people here and there, but it's just like they were majority empty, and it sucks. Let's see. Is there another tanking video I can watch? Is there another one? Uh, let's see. Is there another one? I'm not watching Stephen A. Huh. The NBA accidentally encouraged tanking. Let me get this ad out of the way. I enjoyed watching the PSLI guys wear the tank helmets when the Sixers were tanking. I don't consider it tanking because there was a bunch of years. I thought it was a mix of sucking too. All right, I'm gonna share the screen. There's another one we gotta watch real quick. I remember that. I remember that. Guys, if you haven't yet, subscribe to my second channel. We are one subscriber away from 700. So if you guys know what that means, what is that number? I've been there those Thunder tanking years. Yeah. Yeah. And then once you win a championship, you're like, whoo, the monkeys all like like it's off your back. I'm gonna go to this one. The NBA accidentally encouraged tanking.
We are not even close to the playoffs, and half of the NBA teams are not trying to win anymore.
I think what Utah is doing right now is messing around with the integrity of the NBA. The ability to sit players, starters in the fourth quarter, to not call timeouts in the fourth quarter.
Teams
I forgot about the timeouts part. I forgot about the timeouts.
are losing on purpose for a better chance at the top pick in a loaded 2026 NBA draft. Fans are furious, games have summer pickup vibes, lineups look random, and the worst part is that the NBA might not have a real way to stop this. Let's
There's no solidified way to stop it. There is not.
talk about why tanking is exploding more than ever and earlier than ever, and if there are any ways to stop it. Some suggestions in the end might surprise you. Probably for the first time ever, teams are openly tanking before the All-Star break, and the reason is simple: the insanely loaded 2026 NBA draft this year has the potential to end up as one of the greatest drafts of all time.
I hate that. I hate when they overhype a draft class. I fucking hate it.
People are throwing around comparisons to 2003, where LeBron, Wade, Carmelo, and Bosh were selected in the top 5. That's how high the expectations are. There's Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsa, Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson, Nate Ament. These aren't just nice prospects. These are franchise-altering players, guys that can change organizations overnight. But they are also part
Overnight? Oh my god. They're putting these guys on fucking pedestals.
of the problem. When the upside of a top 3 pick is this massive, teams stop feeling shame about losing. But there should be consequences for intentionally losing basketball games, right? Two things have made tanking significantly worse in the recent years. Let's start with the first round pick protections. It has always existed in the NBA, but in 2011, the Clippers gave away their first round unprotected pick to the Cavs for Mo Williams. It had only a 3% chance to become the #1 pick, yet it did, and since then, the protections on first round picks have gone completely off the rail. Take Utah, for example. The Jazz only keep their 2026 first round pick if it lands between picks 1 and 8. Anything outside of that, it's gone. Such incentive structure has produced one of the most blatant tanking
There you go, Thunder. There you go. You got another draft pick.
examples we have ever seen, and it happened in early February. Against Orlando, Utah were up by 7 late in the third quarter. Lauri Markkanen had 27, Jaren Jackson Jr. in his first game as a member of the team had 22, Yusuf Nurkic had 14 rebounds. They were hooping and having fun. Then, all of a sudden, in a winnable game, all 3 were benched for the entire fourth quarter. No injury, no foul trouble.
The entire fourth quarter. The entire fourth quarter. Wow.
Just gone. Of course, the Magic came back and won the game, and that wasn't a development plan. That wasn't rest. That was an intentional loss in real time in front of paying NBA fans, and it looked ridiculous. Indiana is another great example of how pick protections quietly encourages losing. At the trade deadline, the Pacers brought in Ivica Zubac. On paper, incredible deal, but there is a catch that invites them to tank even more. Indiana now owes their 2026 first round pick to the Clippers only if it falls between 5th and 9th. So what's the incentive again? Correct, making sure your odds of landing a top 4 pick are as high as possible. Suddenly, rotation decisions start
Indiana's kind of tricky because Halliburton's out. That's the only thing. If they get Halliburton, a good draft pick, and then Zubac, you're set for like years.
getting interesting. Against Utah last week, Indiana rested or managed 5 of their 6 best players. But the strangest part? Quinton Jackson. He's on a 2-way deal fighting for a job. He scores 24 in 17 minutes. He's a plus 15 in a game Indiana loses by 9. And somehow he plays the fewest minutes on a short-handed roster. That is not basketball logic. That is draft logic. The second biggest reason tanking is worse than ever, the NBA's attempt to fix it in 2019. Flattening the draft lottery odds for the three worst teams in the league was supposed to discourage tanking. In reality, it did the opposite. Now, more teams believe they have a chance to get to that bottom three. Last year, the two worst teams in the league picked 5th and 6th. Meanwhile, three teams that were fighting for playoff spots jumped them in the lottery.
Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. How come no one said that before? How come no one said that before, bro?
So what's the lesson? You don't need to be the worst, you just need to be bad enough. And once teams realize that, the entire bottom half of the league starts racing downward together. Flattening the odds didn't remove incentive to lose, it's
The projected picks are definitely one of the big reasons. Definitely. Yeah, if they get rid of them, that would be something. Hey, what is up, Gregor? What is up, man? I appreciate your DM, bro. That was really, really cool. You didn't have to do that.
credit. And when you combine that with the pick protections, you get chaos. Washington has recently taken this to another level. In back-to-back games recently, the Wizards played with 13 million and 36 million in active salary. Against Brooklyn last week, Bilal Coulibaly, Keyshawn George, and Alex Sarr were all ruled out on game day. That left Washington with only 8 available players. 3 of those guys on two-way deals, 1 guy on a 10-day contract. Their best player that day, with all due respect to Justin Champagnie, he shouldn't be called the best player on any roster at this point of
He should not. He should not.
his career. Meanwhile, Brooklyn had 139 million in active salary that day, so you can guess the result of all this farce. The Nets had a 26-point lead already after the first quarter. That's not the competition NBA fans want to see. That's more like an insult to people who actually paid for the tickets or tuned in. But the very next night, Washington played Miami. Bam Adebayo alone is making more money than the entire Wizards active roster combined that day. On top, Washington didn't even stagger lineups with their best players together. Unfortunately, I watched that game live because it was a comfortable time slot for the European audience before the Super Bowl. The game had summer pickup street ball vibes the whole 48 minutes. Washington didn't really pretend, and the Heat won.
If you guys haven't yet, please like the stream. Please like it. We'll try to get to like 15.
Without much effort. And this is where tanking crosses the line. Whether it's Utah, Indiana, or Washington, it doesn't really matter. In-game decisions to lose cannot be part of the NBA product. That's where fans completely check out. But if you haven't checked out on this video yet, please like it now and subscribe to our channel. We are working extremely hard to give you that unique European perspective on NBA stuff, and it would help to grow us so much faster. Thank you. And now the scariest part of it all. These aren't just isolated cases of intentional losing. Right now, we are watching the start of the great tank for the 2026 draft. Sacramento owns their pick and desperately needs a franchise face after missing out on Luka in 2018. Brooklyn owns its pick and has some role players developing, but no one really with a superstar ceiling. Dallas is only a few games.
Let's see. Let's think about Brooklyn's roster real quick. I want to go see Brooklyn's roster. Superstar ceiling on Brooklyn. Michael Porter Jr. Nick Clax. Igor Devin's been playing well. Shout out to Danny Wolf of former Michigan. The superstar potential, I gotta go with, is there superstar potential for Brooklyn? Is there actually a superstar potential for Brooklyn? What, Sengun? It's Brooklyn. Do they have any superstar potential? Michael Porter Jr. Maybe if he's healthy. Is that the only freaking reason? Is that the only person? Claxton? I don't see anybody. They had Cam Thomas, but he walked.
Games away from the bottom three. And hey, they won the lottery last year with only 1.8% odds. Why not try again? Memphis already started its reset by trading Jaren Jackson Jr., so they want to lose too. Milwaukee, Giannis might leave, Giannis might stay in the summer, but the team is not good enough to compete. So why not shut him down and maximize draft odds? And that is how you end up in a situation where it's barely the All-Star break and 10 out of 30 NBA teams are trying to lose games on purpose. That's why the games are about to get ugly. So the NBA fans are asking a very real question. Is this the product NBA wants? Unsurprisingly, they are furious. Social media is on fire.
How do we have a competitive season from start to finish? How do we avoid over 1/4 of our league not giving a shit for the last 2 months? How do we fix this?
Fans, analysts, former players, everyone has a solution. Some terrible, some interesting. And one of them is crazy, but might have a chance
Shout out to Kenny.
to make the situation just a little bit better. So let's go through 4 ideas that had the most traction. First one is simple. Draft order is determined by the reverse standings of non-playoff teams. The best team to miss the play-in gets the first pick. The second best to miss the play-in gets the second pick. And so on. Problem solved, right? Worst teams now have incentive to win. Except this does not remove tanking. It just moves it upward. Now, teams on the playoff bubble have the incentive to lose. Why bother getting to the playoffs and losing in 5 games in the first round when you can get a top 5 pick? And playoff level tanking is far worse for the league than bottom feeder tanking. Another popular idea, all non-playoff teams play a tournament. The better you perform.
So, guys, after this video, real quick, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. So, it's not about tanking, it's about something else, but it's not necessarily a bad rant. It's just something I need to get off my chest.
There, the better your draft odds. I gotta admit, this sounds competitive, but let me ask you this. Why would the current players fight for the higher draft picks that could actually replace them? Do we really want more low-quality games? And is adding matches to an already bloated schedule really the answer? Probably not. The first suggestion is bold, but the NBA probably not gonna like it. Get rid of the draft entirely. Institute a hard cap. Let rookies enter the league as free agents. The idea is that teams would no longer benefit from losing, simply because there is no guaranteed reward waiting at the bottom. Rookies could choose situations based on money, development, and opportunity.
What's
not
good, Phil?
ping-pong balls. In theory, this could completely eliminate tanking, but in reality, it would dramatically shift power towards the big.
I kind of like the tournament idea, but I love tournaments. What, for the first overall pick? I mean, that's been in the, like, that's been, that's been rumored for like that's been talked about for years. So that kind of had them play competitive for the worst pick or for the best pick. What is up, Wesley? What is up?
Markets. Plus, the NBA would lose a lot of attention that the draft generates throughout the year. It's an intriguing idea, but I'm pretty sure the league would lose a lot.
And I'm going to say this right now. I know people are not going to agree with me on this. Draft lottery was fixed. It was fixed last year. I know Blaze is probably like, oh, here we go again. Here it is with the fix. You're telling me when the Sixers, not the Sixers, when the Lakers traded, or when the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka for nothing, and then they randomly get Cooper Flag, like randomly out of the fucking blue, and then now Cooper Flag, this is becoming a Cooper Flag's team. It is. Anthony Davis is gone. Kyrie Irving might be gone this offseason. Like, this is honestly becoming Cooper Flag's team. And could it possibly be that Cooper Flag could be the bigger or better quote unquote leader than Luka was.
more money abolishing the draft than having a dozen of terrible games. And now it's time for the wildest idea I've seen. Remove the ping pong balls and the draft lottery. At the end of every game, the team that scores more points gets to choose. Does this count as a win or a loss? No lottery means no hidden incentives. If you want playoff positioning, you take the win. If you want better draft odds, you take the loss. Either way, every
I hate that idea. Hold on.
or a loss. No lottery means no hidden incentives. If you want playoff positioning, you take the win. If you want better draft odds, you take the loss. Either way, every team is incentivized to play hard because you can benefit from losing.
So basically, hold on. Coincidence. Everything's fixed. Like, then what's the point of playing for it if you want to take the loss? The fuck? No! No! That makes it even worse! That makes it even worse. The hell?
Unless you actually win first. Is it insane? Yes. Would it ever be implemented? Absolutely not. But in practice, it's better than almost everything else I've seen on the internet. It might not solve bad teams losing to good teams, but it could fix the games where both teams are trying to tank. Anyway, I believe it isn't going away. The incentives to lose are simply too.
That was honestly the stupidest take I ever fucking heard in my life. And I heard some bad takes in my life. Hold on. Boop. That's like, dude. The hell? What? What? These people on the internet, bro, they get thousands, millions of views for shit like that. For shit like that, they get thousands of views. How many views did I get? 15K. 15K for that. Alright, alright. Never, like, the hell? Alright, let's talk about this last thing real quick. It's about the Sixers. Let's just, I'm gonna change this to this. I'm gonna change this to that. And then I'm gonna change this to that. Alright. There's something I just gotta say right now. And hold on. There we go. We gotta talk about this for the buyout market, right? We gotta talk about this. Hold on, let me. I've seen videos on YouTube, and maybe next MK in the morning we could react to them. Maybe, right? I don't know how that Sixers fans want Chris Middleton. I don't understand. What has Chris Middleton shown in the last couple of years that makes you be like, oh, I want him on my team, right? I want him on my team in the buyout market. Chris Middleton is old. He is washed. Chris Middleton hasn't done much of anything within the last couple of years, especially like he is getting older. He is slower, not that athletic. His best days were behind him in Milwaukee. That was the best day or behind him. Because he won the championship? Because he's got the mentality? This is what happened with Kyle Lowry. This is exactly what happened with Kyle Lowry, and I'm victim of it. I said that Kyle Lowry would be good. I said that. But now I'm like, I want guys who can compete. I want guys not to take up roster spots. I think Chris Middleton would take up a roster spot. I really feel like Chris Middleton would take up a roster spot. So let's look here how old Chris Middleton is. Let's look at this. Chris Middleton right now, he is 34. Okay? He is 34 years old. And then when you look at his stats, right? He averages 10 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 43 percent for the field, 33 from 3, 85 from free throw line. Okay, when you look back here, how many games has he played? Dallas, they bought him out. They're probably going to buy him out. And then you go to Washington, he played 34 games out of 34. Washington is not that good of a team. Washington would take anyone on their roster right now. Washington would take anybody to play for there right now. And everyone. You got Trae Young injured. You got Anthony Davis injured. They'll take anybody. Right? Milwaukee, when he won the championship, he was part of that big three. Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday. Right? He was a big, big part of it. He was 32 years old at that time. 32 years old. He's been on Milwaukee right after he got drafted by Detroit. So his rookie year was Detroit, and then you have Milwaukee for and then you have Milwaukee for the next decade plus. Right? Then you had him stay in Milwaukee, go to Washington, then Dallas. I think that would be the worst, one of the worst things, honestly. I think Chris Middleton is not the same player as he used to be. And if you want me to break down stats some more, at will, but I don't think Chris Middleton is that guy. For the bench, no. I don't see it anymore. I really don't. I don't see him going out for 20 in this game. I don't see him going out for 20 at 34 years old. Chris Middleton is on his last leg. He's on his last leg. So what? He'll be here 2 more years, give or take. He'll be in the league for 2 more years. Then if he's here for the Sixers buyout market, then you resign him. I don't see it at all. But Chris Middleton, it's got to be one of the worst buyout players. They got to be the worst. I don't see a team getting him unless you're like, okay, we're going deep in the playoffs. Let's just grab Chris Middleton. Why the hell not? I don't see Chris Middleton at all. I don't see Chris Middleton working here at all. I really don't. Let me look at the comments. Probably because they think we'll be getting Chris Middleton from 6 years ago. Here's a good one. Is Klay Thompson the first ballot Hall of Famer? He does have 4 rings. That's a tough one for me. I love Klay. I really do. But he's not as good as he used to be. You can see him decreasing. Give Middleton Lowry spot? I definitely agree. Middleton's in Dallas. I know he is. He's only played 2 games. He's only played 2 games so far. I could see them potentially buying him out. I could see it. But I just don't see the Sixers doing it. I don't see the Sixers going after this guy in the buyout market. Thank God we got Jabari Walker. Jabari Walker is not the best player out there, but he can still give you run. He is unathletic. I mean, he is more athletic than Chris Middleton. So for me, I'll take Jabari Walker over Chris Middleton. Campaign is the savior. Here's the thing about Campaign, right? The Sixers traded Jaron McCain. It got nothing for him. All right, we got a first round pick. We got 2 seconds and no player back. This is basically a Campaign going like, hey, we'll take you because we got a bunch of class. We got a bunch of what is the word? We got a bunch of hate coming at us for not getting the player, for not getting anything in return. So we'll be like, okay, we'll take Cameron Payne. We'll take him back. They bought him off. They bought him out overseas. We take him for the rest of the season. That's basically what Cameron Payne is telling me. Cameron Payne is a fan favorite here in Philly, but I don't see him getting a lot of minutes. I don't. So that's my rant. Chris Middleton is not coming here. I've seen videos. We could react to that tomorrow on MK in the morning, maybe. But yeah, Chris Middleton, stay far away from Philly. Stay far away from Philly. I wish him the best of luck, but I think this is the time for him to retire. Yeah, right? McCain for Payne. It does. It really, really does. So, all right, guys, let me send your way to the 3-point blitz. Let me send you over there right now. Nikki is live right now. He is live over there. So let me send you guys his way so you guys can hang out with him, all right? 3-point blitz is actually a great show that he does. I listen to it every single Tuesday as I'm doing YouTube stuff or I have it on my TV. Sidelines or balls to backup. We already filled out our roster spots. Our roster spots are filled. We are done. Would I be mad at Lonzo Ball? No. So, Vince, right? It's a new era. All right, guys. Have fun with Nikki Steves. Make sure you guys go over there. Show him some love. Man. And I will catch you tonight at 6:30 Eastern for Michigan and Purdue. I'll see you guys later tonight. With that being said, like, share, subscribe. Peace, guys. MK out.